And welcome to my channel today. I'm Tara with Pieces of Tara Artistry. Thank you for joining me. So today I am going to be doing something a little bit kind of crazy and different. This is my consistency for my base paints that I'm going to do a flip cup in. I left them just a tad thicker than I normally do for my satin enamel paints. So this is kind of a experiment of sorts, and I'm going to be honest with you, it didn't work out as I anticipated, but that's okay because I improvised a bit. I did 4 different flip cups, and all of these paints have satin enamel, so these are my base paints. And then I was going to do a flip cup and then swipe through and see if I could swipe the pearls, but it just really caused some lacing. And oh yeah, I have my hands off handles there. There's a discount code in the description box. They're great for these type of pearl pours because it keeps your hands clean and gives you handles to hold on to, and I love it. So those are the hands off handles. See the description box for the discount code. So whoop again, they are a little bit unsteady if you're tipping the canvas back and forth. They're fine normally if they're just sitting flat. And I did paint my edges. This is something that you want to do just to make sure that you don't get show through, because these are thinner paints. And if you use like a tube paint and it gets tacky, then the design will stick to the edges better. So I'm just gonna kind of go back and forth with these flip cups, and I love these colors, and I was kind of, I don't know what exactly. So this is my Fluid Art Co., the palette knife that I use. I love this palette knife because it's like the perfect size. It's not too big and it's not too small. And I just used my regular Amsterdam paint mixed with my 50% Floetrol, 50% GAC 800. And the lacing that I got from it was really perfect. I didn't really need like an Aussie Floetrol. And that's what I was kind of like wondering how this would react, and if I would get pearls, if I would just get lacing, what exactly would happen. Because the satin enamel paints as the base coat in the flip cups, I wasn't sure how all that would react with just the regular Amsterdam white paint and GAC and Floetrol. So I'm going to show you how I swipe through, and I honestly wasn't trying to retain much of the flip cups. I was really trying to get like pearl cells to kind of pop through. But then as I started to stretch these out, the pearl cells, well, the lacing ended up being kind of wonky. And it's great up until like the last corner that I stretch off. I realize I have way too much paint on my canvas still, and so I stretch off quite a bit of that paint, and the cells get wonky. I think if I did it again, I would just stop and allow the paints to stay on a bit thicker. And then even if because once I see that the paints are, the cells are kind of wonky, I decide to do a blowout, which I love. I think it turned out good. Here I am, the paint is starting to roll over itself, so I'm just adding in some more of that parakeet just to help it to flow over the edges easier. Excuse me. I wanted to keep on the ash violet. I really love that Charvin ash violet that is in this one. It turned out really pretty, and it was a really nice complement to these colors. So I was trying to keep that on there without having the design roll over. So you can see that the lacing is kind of staying intact pretty well. And then I really kind of did more of an extreme tilt on this area. And you see here is where the cells start getting really kind of crazy wonky. And I'm just not really a fan. You guys know, if you watch me, I don't like wonky cells. And this one was fine. But I don't know. I just was not a fan of all the super wavy cells. So, anyway, I decided that I would kind of set it down and take a look at it. Here, I'm trying to like get the pearl cells to pop through. But I think at this point, I realized that, number one, my paints are a little too thick for the pearl pour. And I did that intentionally so that hopefully the swipe would keep the lacing intact and get pearls, but that really wasn't the case. So I took my Amsterdam white paint mixed with 50% Floetrol, 50% GAC 800. I added it in kind of lines where I kind of wanted to cover up some of that lacing that was kind of wonky. And then I was going to blow it out. So I lay these kind of in lines, but the thing is with this white Amsterdam paint and satin enamels, like the white Amsterdam paint really starts sinking right away and disappearing. So it'll disappear underneath of your paints, your other paints, if you don't put quite a bit on. So I decided to take the cap off my bottle and put quite a bit of this white paint on, which I'm glad I did, because the blowout was really pretty. And I just think, okay, if I hadn't used satin enamel paints in the base, I think that this would have been really cool. And I think I'm going to try it without satin enamel. I'm going to just use flip cups with these colors and a blowout with the same white Amsterdam paints. But I'm going to use more of my Dutch pour paints versus the satin enamel base. I really was trying to go for a pearl situation here, and it did turn out like there were pearls definitely, but this white paint is just sinks with the pearl pours, and so you really do lose a lot of that beautiful color and lacing. So like if I could have stopped right here, I would have been really happy, and if that had just stayed the same, I would have been really happy. But it starts sinking, and it does start selling and creating some pretty lacing. But again, that white starts sinking, and it basically disappears. So as soon as I'm done with this, I do kind of add a little bit of a section here of the white. At first, I just wanted a little bit extra, and then this kind of, I don't know, kind of went a little bit wide, and then my blowout was kind of funky, so I added in a little bit more to make sure that the composition was decent, stayed decent, and so that's why I'm adding in more of that white paint. I'm gonna kind of blow it towards that bottom corner more. But yeah, that actually part turned out really pretty because the pearl cells really started popping through with the parakeet and that ash violet. It looks really pretty. So I'm gonna time lapse it here for you guys. It's really sped up coming up. I waited probably about 45 minutes or so before I took a close-up, because I wanted to like get a true value of what the close-up is after the paints kind of finish processing, because these pearl paints, they do keep kind of moving and shifting and developing for about 45 minutes to an hour after you've stopped actually doing the painting. So yeah, you can see here that it's really sinking that white, and I will show you a video, or no, a still picture of it dry, and yeah, see, this is really pretty. It does, you can see all the multicolored pearls that are happening there in the white section, and where that lacing is really pretty there. I really loved that part there. It turned out really pretty, and I just love all those multicolored pearls. And you can see where those are those old lines from that swipe that I did. And here's just different areas where the white caused lacing. And I think that lacing turned out really pretty. But in the dried result, you're going to see that it dried kind of chalky and not great. So I love that result right there. But here, when it dried, you can see that white really thinned out. You can barely see where the blowout happened. And so I decided that I would try and just I took a Posca pen, and this is actually after I started kind of playing around with it. I realized I should probably show you guys what I was doing to kind of embellish it, kind of get that white to stick out a little bit more. And so just because maybe a painting isn't drying like you want it, or maybe like in my situation, that lacing kind of just all disappeared, doesn't mean that you can't fix it or play with it. And I really actually enjoyed just playing with this. I added in lines that weren't there. I did a lot of outlining. I really just tried to, I don't know, play with it. Playing with the composition a little bit, outlining kind of more like fans, like making these fans more distinct and the cells more distinct, adding in white space. So here we go. This is what I come up with, how it was completely finished. I really like it. I was super proud of this because, I don't know, you guys, I'm not an embellisher. I'm not a real, I don't do any painting, like fine art painting at all. And so this was actually fun to just play with. You see those really pretty, like the shine on this is really nice with those colors. And that lacing, it really stands out, kind of outlined that Dutch pour part. And I think it turned out good. So if you guys like what you're seeing, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're notified each time I put out a new video. Check out my dad's website, DJ Fluid Arts. Check out my website. Actually, my dad's channel, DJ Fluid Arts. I have a website, piecesofterrorartistry.com. And yeah, that's it.